I want to get into solo travel. You can tell me correctly if I'm wrong, but as I was going through your content, I'm like, wow, this is so inspirational because it's like, if other persons could see that, listen, I don't need to have someone to go with me. I know Magdala, I see a lot of times she's with her friend. Is Corinne still on? They're the funniest, by the way. Y'all watch their content. They're there. Is she still on? If Corinne, if you're on, just type in the chat. She needs to put her social media handle is there as well, because they travel together as besties. And it's very, very funny, but I love the girl, the sisterhood aspect of it that I think a lot of persons would be interested in. But I want us to speak on solo travel. Krishna Stubbs, am I saying that correctly? She sends a question. She says, as someone who enjoys traveling, but often does not have the time, how can I properly schedule my dream trip? And what are some tips for traveling alone, not only as a woman, but also as a Black woman? I wanted you ladies to speak a little bit on solo travel, the benefits of it. What are your insights on it? What would you tell somebody who says, I don't have anyone to go with? I'm a single woman, I don't have any children. I don't have any husband, but I want to see the world.
Majority of my trips are solo only when I'm on the airplane. But I always meet up with friends wherever I go. I meet up with friends. I meet up with company. But to say help those who don't have somebody to travel with and they want to get up and go, obviously you want to be very wise, because this day and time is a wicked system of things that we live in, and people are cruel and wicked. So you need to do a lot of planning and research before you do that. Understand that there are certain countries where, unfortunately, women are not respected, period. So you want to avoid countries like that by yourselves. Now, I've traveled to 5, but I can tell you from experience, if you travel there solo, you would be fine. Dubai is very, very safe. Very, very safe. Australia is safe. New Zealand is safe. Singapore, dead safe. Very safe. And any of those countries I listed off just now, things still can happen to you. But as a single woman traveling by yourself, also Bali is also relatively safe too. When you pay a company and they give you an itinerary of what a bunch of you are going to do, Australia and New Zealand, we did a big van where there were lots of people on the van. You all stay at the same hotel, different rooms and stuff like that. Or they could pair you with a partner in a room. I personally wouldn't be trust pairing with anybody. I would prefer to pay the extra to stay in my own room, but at least you're traveling as one with people. So you're never lost and you still have the full experience.
And Lashante, what are some of your tips? Those are really awesome. And you don't solo at all.
No, I always end up meeting up with somebody, always.
But you would fly there solo?
Fly solo, yes. Fly solo, get to where they are. I think the only solo trip I've done is San Francisco, and I was there all by myself.
So what about Cuba? Someone said Cuba too. What do you think, Deandra?
To go to Cuba by yourself? Oh, definitely. Yeah. Oh, most definitely. Cuba is one of those countries that, hands down, if you want a local experience, I would say stay with the host, and the hosts take really good care of you. Our host, Barbara, was like a second mother to us, but very, very safe. To be honest with you guys, some of the things that people experience, I've never had a problem, but I know that's because, it may be because too, I'm with someone. So I don't want to say, if as a solo female, I've met many solo travelers, during the duration of our travels, and because I take photos with them, I'm very much into photography. Do you want a photo or whatever like that? And so they'll talk and say that they are solo, and we talk and they say they're fine, and they're Black women as well. And so I would say, yes, Cuba, Italy, Thailand, all of these places are relatively safe. You have no issues, no problems. If you could live in the Bahamas,
Girl, I'm from the island, so I throw a low blow and say, if you can live in Nassau.
Yes.
I beg to differ on Italy. I beg to differ.
What was your experience in Italy? They loved you in Italy. That's why the men loved.
No. Listen, I didn't experience racism. My best friend did. She experienced racism, shockingly, because she light skinned. and she a tall.
Oh, they ain't care.
Tall cup of glass. I think they'd get on me because I die. But the only thing I experienced in Italy that I would not say is safe for a solo traveler is because the minute we got into Italy, we got into the Fiumicino airport and we took a train down to the middle of Rome where the train station is. It was 5 of us. And 3 was ahead and 2 was in the back. So it was myself and my aunt, but my best friends and 2 other friends was at the front. And as we go through a little area to get to our Airbnb, that's 10 minutes away from the train station, mind you. So you think it's relatively safe. And this guy, very flamboyant, very energetic, and he's counting us slowly. 1, 2, 3. He's counting. So I don't know what you're counting for.
Yeah.
Then lastly, when we were about to take the last bus to head back to our Airbnb, because we missed like everything. If you don't have a proper transportation set up, you could get left behind. And we took the last bus system, and then there was clouded. So we were in there like sardines, and a man was in the front of me, on the side of me, in the back of me, and a woman was here. And the guy that's directly in front of me, I can feel movements from him, but I'm saying we're in the bus, so it's moving back and forth. I can't say anything. We're all jammed up in a space together. As I continue to ride on the bus, I feel something on my thigh. He was rubbing himself on my thigh. So I had to push him away from me, and everybody in the bus cleared up. And he was like, oh, well, I was like, you know what you did? And he's like, sorry, miss. And I'm like, nah, no. And then also, pickpocketed is very huge over there. My friend got pickpocketed while we were on that trip. Everything was taken away from her.
Yeah.
So to say solo travel,
so safety. Okay.
Safety wise, not too much trusting over there.
But now that you say that, see, because everybody is not gonna have the same experience, and I'm glad that you said, because we, travel is, glamorous, I guess you could say it is, all that kind of stuff, but you can't lose, vigilance.
Yeah, I was gonna say that, like, you have to be, no matter where you go, what you do, you have to be wise. Like, you can't be a clown. You know what I mean? Like, you have to be wise. You have to set things in place. You have, even if like you're going out, like let your family know back home, like, I'm going this place, I plan to go this place, I should be back at my hotel or wherever by this time. If you know what I mean? Like, and then call them, follow up, like always let people know where you are, where you're gonna be, what's the plan, like constantly follow up with somebody. So when you're traveling alone, like, I wouldn't say don't travel alone. Just be wise, use wisdom, be aware of your surroundings. Make sure for some reason, no matter where I am, I'm always watching to make sure nobody's following me. If you follow me, I'm about to walk all around the place to lose you. Like, you have to be very careful, especially as a solo traveler. So I would say just be vigilant and know, like they said, like research where you're going, know the country that you're going to. And I think when you do those things, you'd be okay.
And don't overshare with strangers. Sometimes they feel so comfortable, you thinking you're talking to
being friendly.
No, they trying to take information on you. And always have Wi-Fi. Always.
Yes, I was gonna say that. Always. I could say, I'm a bit paranoid, but I'm always aware of my surroundings. Even like if I take like public transportation, like if I'm in an Uber, I'm always like thinking about, okay, what would be my move? Like, is the door open? Like, can I jump out? Like, and I always sit behind the driver.
My God, can I jump out?
Yeah, I'm thinking like, okay, if I jump out at this speed, like what's gonna break? I like literally I be thinking like that. I always sit behind the driver. I always check the license plate. That's just me. Like, even if I'm in, no matter where I go, if I'm in the US or Canada, like I always share my, like Uber has an option where you can share your ride with somebody so that they can track you. You could ask my sister, like, I do that every time because you're not about to kidnap me. I'm not going to end up on the black market. I'm keeping my organs. Like, no.
And that is powerful because a lot of times we would say that, go out there and travel. But sometimes there are, just how things could happen at home, things could happen abroad. So I love those travel tips that you would have given to persons, because you have to go into this thing still with. Somebody said y'all lose all sense when y'all go on vacation. You jump in the water knowing you can't swim. No, it's not magic.
They have safety devices for hotel rooms too. Like, I haven't purchased any, but I see that they have them like on TikTok, and I've seen them around. Like, they have things that you can put like on your hotel door, like to keep it locked when you sleep. Like, there are things. So if you're like particularly like I guess, paranoid or worried about those things, like you could
Mhm.
just look it up. One of my friends, she was telling me about a trip that her and her mother are gonna take like in a few months, and she literally told me about like a whole bunch of safety devices that her mother plans to purchase. And I'm like, I've never heard of those things, but they did the research. I was like, this is new to me.
Mhm.
They want to be safe. Safety is
Someone made a
definitely
point
important.
briefly, Deandra. They said to
Uh-huh.
not post in real time, and that's what 5,000% me.
Yep.
Someone
Yep.
literally saw me 2 weeks ago, and they say one thing, but you boy, because I really thought you was in Rhode Island, but you
Right.
I am never posted. A lot of the
No,
posts
not
I'm
in real
posting
time.
now on my travel posts, I went there 2 years ago. two
Yeah, you
years
have to be
ago.
so careful. You have to be careful.
Have
And
to.
people like to check in, and
Yeah.
I get it. Like you're excited, you want to share, but you have to be so careful. Like
Yes.
you were really letting people know, like, okay, I'm in this
Mhm.
airport, I'm in this city. Like, no,
Go
just
and
be
go and get go
wait.
to my house and help yourself. That's
Yeah,
how
Yeah.
I
I'm
am.
out of the country, guys.
Mhm.
Rob me.
And safety reasons too is always I don't know if you guys do it. It could be a little extra expense on you, but it's wise to do it is to get travel insurance. If you go to Nassau Underwriters, NUA, or even if you use a international travel insurance, and always have at least spare cash on your person, USD cash to use
Yeah.
expeditiously. I keep between $500 to $1,000 in hand in case of an emergency. And once you have that USD, that travel insurance, anything that happens, whether it's death, medical, or you need to cancel, or a pandemic come up and they need to give you your money back for your tickets, you better off getting travel insurance and just riding just like that. It don't make sense for you to travel if you can't have emergency money or travel insurance, because you're gonna put yourself in problems and you're gonna have people at home panicking.
That is powerful. So Nassau Underwriters over here gives you travel insurance for about how much?
For like a week, you're looking at paying $107 for a week.
Okay.
But I guess depending on how long you go, it may differ. I use NUA before, and I use an international travel insurance agency as well. So it really draws up to about the same amount of money.
So about $100 a week. But I could tell you,
Yeah.
I was one of those persons who thought that, okay, like what could I have on vacation? Because I, like when you plan down to the, you're like, oh, what could I have? Well, sure enough, we were feeding the elephants in Thailand, and we were having us, a good time. And in those parts of the world, the water is very murky.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and I laughed because I'm kind of stubborn, like kind of sort of, right? So my husband was like, "Be careful on the rocks, babe. Be careful on the rocks." And I'm like, "I am fine. Like I'm careful on the rock." Well, sure enough, I slipped on the rock and I thought my leg was broken. And all I could think of,
Wow.
we're in Thailand, the place where they don't speak our language with, these different waters and stuff. How am I going to get in the hospital? Like, how am I going to receive care for a broken leg? And so that was the first time that I thought about travel insurance. Like, if I had that, thankfully it was just, it was just scarred and stuff like that. I was fine after they bandaged it and what's not. But that was the first time I thought about having travel insurance, because I said, if something happened,
Yeah.
some of me, I want to go to the best. I'm in a foreign country, their water and stuff is different. You don't want to get infected. You don't want to have a whole situation. And guess what happened even worse? When we were on our way to the airport, we got in a car accident. I was like, okay,
Sold.
And a lot of these
insurance.
situations, they ask you for NDA. You have to sign a lot of paperwork that covers them as a business. If something happens to you, that's on you, dying on them.
Yep.
You understand? Especially if you're solo traveling, I definitely recommend that. And the good thing about if you have an iPhone, as soon as, let's say you faint or something, you're by yourself, if you the emergency section of your lock phone, it has a bunch of details that somebody can call on your behalf, because you have these people as emergency contact. I would say update that and put as much information as possible, things you're allergic to, where they could find different things in order to help you so that you could get sorted out real soon.
I was gonna say update it, because most of us, we don't. We ignore that part. So I would say go on your phone and
What is that? What is that to update?
So your iPhone, if you go into the iPhone, let's say it's locked, and you go into the iPhone section, it's going to have the emergency section right here. If you click that, and it's going to have medical ID. When you click that medical ID, all of your information is going to pop up. Your name, how old you are, if you're organ donor, your allergies, your emergency contact.
Oh, and they can take that too, whoever needs to.
Exactly. They can have it accessible right there and then, and they could be able to make whatever calls they need to make in order to get you some help.
Yeah.
Okay.
And she mentioned ID too, like as a solo traveler, I would say always, I mean, it's maybe a given, but I always have, like when I leave the hotel, I always have at least 2 forms of ID on me. Just always, like always. And it's a habit that I even do home.
No to the passport in the safe. You carrying that with you all the time.
I always, maybe because I work in a hospital and I know like what could happen. Like I always have like at least my passport and my driver's license on me.
Okay.
I carry my passport everywhere. Call me paranoid because just like LaShante, I am very paranoid when I traveling. My best friend could even tell you like things she don't see, I see. Because I want to think of an emergency plan right then. Then I don't want to be squandering. And when I go in the shower to the Airbnb, my passport is in a Ziploc bag in the shower with me. Call me crazy if you want to, but I work very hard for my passport. As a Haitian descent person born in the Bahamas, it's not easy to get that passport.
Yeah.
So wherever I go, my passport goes. So if something happens,
I got the Ziploc bag from my brother-in-law, and he's also of Haitian descent, so I get it. He told me about that Ziploc bag.
What, girl? Like that in the shower with me. And the thing is, a tip one of my friends gave too when we was in Italy with the Airbnb. If you're going to your Airbnb very late, a lot of these Airbnbs are in areas where other people live. And you don't know these people. So when you go, you don't turn your light on as soon as you get in that Airbnb because they know which one you stay in. So the minute you leave, you're not a guest. They can go and search that place if they want to.
Yeah. Oh, with the elevator too, I always do this when I travel alone. Like I always type in the wrong number. Like I wait until you get off and I'm the last person to get off. So if I'm going all the way to the top, I'll just have to make that trip to the top and tell everybody empty out. Then I go to my floor. That's just me.
Yeah. These are very, very wise, and I hope the guests are really taking note because these are things even I'm learning some things as well because when you go to the other parts of the world, persons are very crafty. Even when you go to, let's just say you go by
some of them, it's their jobs. Like they make a living scamming people.
They make a living from it because even if you and I know you would have seen this on social media where they would put like things on you, like just say if it's a hat, and once you touch the hat, it's yours. You have to pay them. And they make a big fuss about it, because you touched it, it's yours. So they have these
put in small places like New York as well.
Yeah, New York.
You taking pictures, one of those little cute things come in the picture, and you think they're being cute, but it's like, give me my $20.
Yeah.
You have $20. You take a picture with me. I asked you to take a picture with me, but you got $20 for me, boss. They so evil. Oh my God.
I've heard a lot of stories. Like I see them and now I just avoid them because I've heard so many stories.
My friend
going into the soak like Dubai where they harass you. Where they harass you to buy things. Like my husband, he just get to the place like, no. Like we don't want anything. Just get away from us. Just get away from us. You don't want anything because what they do, if you're not firm, you're gonna end up having to purchase whatever they're throwing on you.
Yeah.
So you have to be firm when you're going to these parts of the world. So what is your favorite? We're gonna wrap up now, guys. What is your favorite travel experience? And if there was one place that you would say that Bahamians must go, where would it be?
I would say Singapore. I love Singapore. I love Singapore. The people there are amazing. Like one of the experiences I had as I made some friends in Singapore and they dropped me to the airport heading home. Now these Asian people, because coming from the Bahamas, when you think about Chinese people, Asian people, they don't really think much of them, or they think they're very rude. Honestly, Chinese people can be very rude, until you buck the really nice ones. And in this situation, I bucked this couple, we became friends, and they dropped me to the airport. Now, this is after all my trip. It's time for me to come home. One of my boys is overweight. Mind you, before we get there, they paid for my dinner. They paid for whatever we need to be done at the airport. And I was too thankful and grateful because they really didn't have to. And we reached to where they weigh your bag, and one of my bags was over the limit. So I see the husband taking my suitcase off the panel. And I looking at it, I'm like, what is mom doing? Open my suitcase, 2 knees on the ground, him and his wife opening both of my suitcase, trying to level off my suitcase for me so that I have to pay double. And I'm looking, and I'm the only Black person in there. And everybody watching me like, they have this Black girl y'all doing it for them. You know, I could see the looks. Some of the looks was like, why y'all doing that? But they did all of that, and all I think in my head is, Lord, thank you, I did laundry, because Lord, why y'all threw my suitcase? But they put it back up, and as I was leaving, mind you, these are people who I met within the 3rd week of being in Singapore, and as I leaving, you know, in the movies where people is wave, they stop waving until I
Until
went,
you disappear.
and I couldn't see them no more. And the wife is so happy, she's like, bye, see you next time. And I was like, is this a Korean movie? What's going on? It was, I love Singapore. Love Singapore.
Wow. What would you say is yours, Lashante?
I would say mine is London, and I think maybe people would have seen on my social media. It's like, no matter where I go, like, that city has my heart. I love it so much, and I don't think it's really the people. I think it's just the diversity of it. Like, the city, like, there's so much to do, and I like that it's so huge. And I think one of the moments that I knew like London had my heart was we went to the Sky Garden. I don't know if any of you have been there before, and just being able to look at the whole city. And I stood there, like, I went at night and I stood and I was like, London really looked like 3 New Yorks. Like, it's huge. And then I realized, like, this is a city that you can explore in a week. You can explore in 2 weeks. Like, the vibe is just, it's just me. Maybe it's my personality, but that's one place that stuck with me and that I feel that every Bahamian should visit. And it's very accessible. Like I said, you can take a direct flight from Nassau. Like Deandra said, you go that night, you sleep on the plane, and you wake up in Europe. And I think Magdala, she said too, or maybe it was Deandra, that once you get to Europe, like, it's so accessible. So if you get to London, London is a very, Heathrow is a nice airport to fly into, even though it could get a bit hectic. But like, once you get there, there's so many other places that you can see, and it's affordable. So I would say that's one of my favorite places.
London is one of your favorite places. I think for me, I love London as well. London is very historic, and I've always been obsessed with like the royal family and all like that. I can't say it out too loud because some persons will be like, what? No, they're
Colonization.
and all this kind of stuff, right? But this is a safe space. I can say this here. So I've always wanted to see Buckingham Palace and that kind of stuff like that, and riding in the black cab. I'm very
Yeah.
fascinated, not so much with them, but
Mhm.
it's a piece of history that you could touch. You
Yeah.
can go to Buckingham Palace and stand by the gate and realize that, wars have happened here.
Mm.
This is a country that has survived war, and, we were once underneath them. So
Yeah.
kind of share that kind of London heritage, if you will.
Yeah.
Because we just got free from them, what, 50
years ago.
something. Yeah, and so I would say that one of the black cab experience riding in London and seeing Buckingham Palace for the first time was definitely one of my highlights of travel. But I think going to Positano, Italy would be one of my favorite travel experiences. I'm an ambiance girl. Sunrises and sunsets is my thing. So I know when I make it to Africa, I'm gonna be smitten. I've never been to Africa, but it's on my bucket list. But the beauty, just the natural beauty
Yeah.
of Toronto was definitely something that I would wish for every Bahamian, especially for my girlies. That's the place. That's the place if you're into, you just want to get into travel brings you back to self. So if you're one of those persons that I'm like, you know what, I want to use this time to just revamp. Definitely.
Yep.
And for cheapness, it will be Thailand. You're rich in Thailand, guys.
Fallen.
Yeah, falling in Thailand. All right, so just wrapping up, guys. I want to one of the last questions I want to ask is, what is it about travel that nobody would understand that you want to share with our guests, that what it has done for your life?
I would say personally for me, it has definitely opened my mind. A lot of times before doing something, you're very ignorant. about the places. I know one of the places that I was very ignorant about before going there because of what other people say or what you hear was China. You hear so many things about China, but China is a very beautiful place. You know, they spend so much time making it like that. I mean, it has a lot of security detailings and stuff behind it. But once you're through and you're in there, the culture is beautiful. The people are beautiful. They are curious because I was a celebrity in Shanghai. Everywhere I go, a camera on and something was in my face everywhere. But traveler has opened my mind to not be so small-minded and look at other people's country as if it's dirt or it's better than where I'm from. Wherever you go, you're always going to see something that's better than the Bahamas, but there's nothing better than home. Home is home, but it allows you to now see how people live, and it shows you too that the way you've been living at home, you won't really been living, you know. You just been underneath the dock, drinking one collect bottle. That's all you've been doing. But once you get to go and experience other people's culture and see the way they do things, you bring that back home. And when you bring that back home, people look at you and be like, "You're so bougie," but that's not what bougie people do. This is something that a poor person I see in this country doing, and you say I bring it back home, that's bougie. It just goes to show that we are ignorant and we really don't know what's going on. So the more you learn while you travel, the more your mind is open, the more you get to share, and the more considerate you are of different people and culture or background you come from.
Do you agree, Lashante?
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think for me it goes both ways. So travel has definitely broadened my horizons, opened up my mind to what's possible and what's out there in the world. But I think it's challenged me in a lot of ways. Like I said, to show up in spaces like fully, confidently, especially as a Black woman, especially as a woman from the Caribbean, going to places and people, saying things like they've never heard of the Bahamas, like it's done that for me. But I think the most important thing I would say travel has done for me is gave me an appreciation for my own country. I think before traveling to different countries, you have your experiences in the Bahamas and then you feel like, okay, like, oh, home is this or home is that. But then when you see how other people really live and you come back home and you really appreciate what we have and you even appreciate the things that we don't have. So I think it goes both ways. Like I've gained empathy, I've gained compassion, like Magdala said, like for other people, appreciation for other cultures. But most importantly, it's helped me appreciate where I'm from. That small island, that dot that you could barely see on the map, like that's mine. You know what I mean? And we have good healthcare and we have decent homes and we have free education, that. So for me, it's definitely increased my appreciation for home.
Definitely. And I agree with what both of you ladies say. But it's also the exposure for me. Being exposed has caused me to just see the world differently.
Yeah.
You would be surprised when you travel to know that and we normally do cooking classes and just different immersive kind of experiences with other cultures, and you get to see, even with family life, that persons are, their culture is different. Like where in the Bahamas you may have, the single parent household may be like normal, and so you may not have a lot of interactions or experience with normal functioning, systems and stuff like that. And so when you travel, you get to see that things are completely different. And the things that we normalize, they are wrong, and a lot of things that I tell my single friends, maybe your husband is not a Bahamian. Like maybe you need that exposure. Like we have gotten so accustomed to just staying with the familiar that we don't even understand that the world is so big. Like hop on the plane and go and experience some of life that is different from what you're used to, because a lot of these things are not normal. Being afraid to live in a country and you have to watch how you do this and watch how you do that, and people are getting murdered just left, right, and center. Those things are not normal.
Yeah.
So take the time, even if it's like a week or how much ever long your vacation for, and go and see like how women especially are slowed down. In Europe, they're taking lunch breaks okay? And they're not rushing back to work. they're not, I mean, I can't say that they're not stressed, but like I
Yeah.
say in Italy, dolce far niente, I bought that from Italy. The sweetness of doing nothing. I want to sit
Yeah.
and just be. I saw something on Dallas content that says, and I wrote it down because I was like, yeah, that's right there. It said, oh, what was it? It said taking it in. That's what it is. Which you had on one of your videos, taking it in, like just sit the Italians practice, and that is what I take home. Sometimes just sit with yourself. We've gotten so
Yeah.
busy, especially in the Bahamas, where we're in that trick crazy, and not me stop saying the Bahamas like the Shante said, that crazy traffic in the morning in Nassau, where we're fighting to get to work, and we're doing that is stressing out. That is
Yeah.
pulling. You have anxiety.
Literally.
I brought those things from my travels, like just find, even if you have to wake up a little bit early, have a cup of tea, do that in peace. Like don't rush all the time to do things. People are living a completely different life in some parts of the world. Businesses shut down. I know when I go to I think it's Nassau Paper Company, religiously, they cut off the whole lunchtime. All their staff is taking lunch like the same time. That's something that they also do. And you would get annoyed with these things.
Yeah.
This is normal. Like
Yeah.
in those parts of the world, they're shutting down their businesses and it's lunchtime. They're taking time to commune, with their co-workers or their family or whatever like that. And it's a normal part of life. And so
Yeah.
I would say to persons, get exposed. I would say to my Bahamian people, if you nothing else, if you take nothing else from, this live today, try to expose yourself as much as possible. Start with the small countries that does not require like a whole lot of funds, because
Yeah.
honest, it's a lot of sacrifice to travel. Let's be honest. You don't just say, okay, you would have to be intentional about wanting to travel. So start with the smaller countries, the budget friendly ones, and then expand as you get that kind of experience. That being said, I want you ladies to give us some insights on Passport to More. I know each of you would have received a copy. What will you tell our guests are some of the benefits of purchasing the ebook?
For me, when I received the Passport to More, I instantly felt like what was written in it was for someone like me. You come with that mindset of believing Florida is the only place you could go to, or Florida should be the only place you're going to. That just didn't sit well with me. But there was something that was mentioned in the book that just Deandra shared, that she didn't grow up thinking the world was hers to explore. So when she started skimming and through it, she said this isn't like a guide to luxury, it's a guide to possibility. And that hit home, because obviously when you think travel, you think it's very expensive. What you do, like Deandra recently said, you want to be realistic about it. Start small, even down here doing a staycation. Start with the family islands, go to I have 3 family islands count down so far, and it all just starts with home. And then you can venture out as time goes by. But the more you realize that you love travel, the more sacrifices you make to make those travel. But I definitely would say get the ebook as soon as you can and read through it. That reading will help you set up to all the travels you have coming in the future.
Yes, and I love the why I did it in an ebook. In an ebook form, some person said, "Well, I like to write. I prefer to have it in the." But I made it clickable, because if you tell a new traveler, okay, go on Google Flights. What did that you said to go on again? Or Expedia or Get Your Guide. So all of those, you just literally click the link and then it takes you directly to those apps. So you could start doing a mock. I call it mock trip. Sometimes my husband and I sit laying off or whatever at the end of the day. And in my mind, we're not going anywhere, by the way, but I'm doing mock trips. Like I'm going,
Yep.
I wonder how much it is to go to Bali. And I'm just clicking on the links and trying to plan an itinerary in my head. So when we're ready, I'm ready. I'm already knowledgeable about that. So what was your first impression of Passport to More?
Wow, I think I emailed you and told you how much I was so impressed. Like I think that was my first impression. Like I was extremely impressed because for me, it's very thorough. Like everything that you need to know about travel, where to start. Like I can't think of any question that that book does not answer. I went through it and I want to sit down and read it like page by page. I would recommend it to anybody. If you're beginning, even if you're a seasoned traveler, I feel like the book has something that can benefit you. I think my personal favorite were your stories, like your own stories from different places. I read the story about you, but the travel insurance. And then I think I also read the one where you and your husband got on the train that was just for women. So it's very it's
In Dubai, yes.
yes, it's thorough, but it's also entertaining and it's palatable. So you don't have to be a big reader. You know, it gets straight to the point. It's not confusing. So I love it. I love it. If I wasn't
Thank you.
gifted it, I'd purchase it.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing, ladies. And I just want to encourage persons that are on, and you really want to take the leap of travel. You don't just have to watch people do it. Travel is something that is achievable to all of us. One of the reasons why I created this travel talk is to educate Bahamians, because you don't have to go outside like I did. I was following the influencers trying to find out, well, how do you do this and how do you do that? You have Bahamians right here that have done it. And the message is that you can most definitely do it too. So we want to ask the chat, is there any takeaways or anything, or actually we could open up the mics. Any takeaways or any comments that you want to say at this time, or maybe you have more a question?
How to purchase your book.
Thank you for asking. I'm going to share my screen right now so you can take a snapshot of the process, which is just basically to WhatsApp and then to send the payment, and then it would be sent directly over to you.
We had some comments more or less talking about more like eSIMs, like Ariello. That was something that a lot of persons recommended as a great eSIM for traveling. Someone also mentioned Costa Rica. Anisha Lee says, yes, when I went to Costa Rica, I stayed with a family and I realized that they prioritize family time. Like people come home and they eat and at the dinner table. Here we work so much that everyone in the house is having dinner at a different time.
Yeah.
So just a lot of comments about what their experiences have been while traveling, and of course waiting on the details on where to purchase that book, as
Okay.
Christina has asked.
Okay, Christina, thank you so much. So that's the WhatsApp number right there to the bottom. And Instagram is the time of my life. My TikTok is Black Excellence 242. And those are my YouTube. So you could just take a picture of that. And I would look forward to connecting with you guys. And also, if you want to purchase a travel journal or, any of my other work, you could just WhatsApp the number and I would be happy to get those things to you. I really, really appreciate the support, guys. It's not easy. This is a lot of work. Let me just say that too. On something this magnitude, it may seem simple, but a lot of work goes like into it in the background. And I am just so blessed and grateful. I don't feel a day like I'm overwhelmed or, oh, I don't want to do that. I love to talk about travel. I love to share. Naturally, as a teacher, I love to educate persons. That's always been within me. I'm not a gatekeeper. If I know something, like we went on the European cruise and they were like, oh, I always wanted to go on a European cruise. How do you do that? And I know Dala went on one as well. And it wasn't as expensive as people make things out to be. As a matter of fact, I think we paid less for our European cruise than we may have paid like on a Carnival cruise. Just things like that. I wanted for Bahamians to be able to share and educate each other, because if one Bahamian could do better, that's a better Bahamas for all of us. Any other takeaways? What are you doing after this travel talk? Are we booking flight? Are we taking vacations? What are we doing?
My takeaway is to get out of my comfort zone, plan the trip, and create beautiful memories.
Awesome. Sauce. So thank you so much, guys. I truly enjoyed Travel Talk with you tonight, and I look forward to having you again at the end of next month, where we'll have some other guests and returning ones as well, to just pour into us and to give us that knowledge that is unique and authentic to us. So thank you so much. Thank you to the guests. Thank you to the persons that were live and stayed to the end in the chat. I truly, truly appreciate you guys. Bye-bye, guys. Good night. And thanks again.